Hi guys, this is Lynn from Lynn's Garden, and I'm going to be in between raindrops, I fear. I worked out here as long as humanly possible before doing this, so let's take a walk around and see what this week has brought us. Still no lawn cushions out, simply because it's been raining most of the time. Once again, this week, rain, which I've got to clean the lawn cushions eventually, but I'm not going to clean them so long as they don't have the time to stay out and dry. Uh-oh, I see a big weed in here. See if I can make my way in and pull this guy. Oh, he's awfully comfortable there. No, you don't, weed. Anyway, there's my big red rhodie. Make my way out now without breaking my neck. Toss that over there for the wheelbarrow. Okay, got rid of the weed. That looks better. Anyway, as you can see from in here, I'll pan in, and you can see that gorgeous clematis climbing the trellis by the pond. What a view. I catch the bronze 9-bark, the red rhodie, and a little bit of the yellow potentilla. And there's also a poppy that's going to be salmon color if it comes out. I had one come out earlier this week, and I took a photo of it. And that one, of course, has been destroyed by the wind and the rain that we've been having. But I've got 2 or 3 more coming up, so that's not too bad. So this is going down the side path over by the green belt, and I worked in the side path area today, and these are getting ready. These come out and they turn a beautiful salmon color as well. Big, tall peonies. Last year I just let them cascade down on the walkway, but this year I said, nope, you're going to go upright. I'm going to see what you're going to look like up there. Lilacs have gone by. All except for the Miss Kim one. The Miss Kim one's still going strong. And today's project, instead of cleaning my fountain, was to get in here and to cut out all of the blackberries, all of the bindweed, just every weed possible. With the ivy in here, it still does not keep the weeds out. And I have red and white peonies that are about ready to come out over here. This is actually 2 plants. There's a red one and a white one. White one was a gift from my daughter-in-law, Farah. She has trouble growing peonies, and I seem to just stick them in the ground and they do very well. So I don't pay any attention to them. My basket of gold has gone by and is now throwing out its seed heads. And up here is another very pretty purple clematis. And once again, over behind there, I clipped out all the blackberries and took care of most of the bindweed and tall weeds. Oh, and it's starting to sprinkle. Don't think I got out fast enough. The Miss Kim is losing its flowers. And on this side of the path, azaleas are losing their flowers. But if I go up the path just a little bit here, my lupin's losing its flowers, but my hollyhocks are coming along. They've got their buds coming. Those will be bright red. I also have a tequila rose. A couple of them that have bloomed. And those are kind of an orangey and pinky color with a little bit of yellow mixed in. Oops, not quite in focus there. There we go. And this week, my spirea decided to blossom. So that's full of white flowers. And so is my dogwood. So I have white in this corner. And my hydrangea is getting very large this year. Probably end up having to clip that back a little. Nah, I like it large. My viburnum. My gal that's sitting on her barrel. And this is what came out this week. This is the pink dogwood. And it is just loaded with flowers. Just gorgeous. Now, if the rains didn't come every day, it would stay gorgeous for about a month. But no such luck this year. Rains are coming daily. Sometimes 2-3 times a day, sometimes just continuously. Well, I'm going to continue up the little side path here. Oh, and I'm going to have to clip you back, viburnum, because you're kind of going over my gal here. Anyway, continuing up the path, I have some pinks that have bloomed. And this will just be lots and lots of blooms over the course of the summer. They will continue to go if I deadhead them. And there's the viburnum and my Japanese pyrrhus that's variegated with the very red flowers. Or the red tops, I should say. White flowers, white bellflowers, red tops on the new growth. And this great big monster here, that's Shasta daisies. And I have some more dianthus or pinks coming out here. This one is not a pink color though. This is a very, very pretty salmon color. Oops. And I'll probably take some portrait type photos of these because they really don't show up very colorful in the walk arounds. And as you can see, that is just loaded with blossoms as well. And that'll keep going all summer long also. But there you have looking down on my pink dogwood, my tequila rose, my white spirea, and my huge dogwood tree. And that one's not lasting as long either. Now, other than planting some new plants I got in yesterday, I did a little handy-dandy sawing today and a little transplanting. If you guys remember, this was a great big, huge California lilac with blue flowers. But most of the branches on it died. What happened was, when I put it in, it was like two independent stems or branches, and one was more dominant than the other, and they both were going off in a not a straight direction but sideways. So because so many branches died, I've been reading about them, and a couple of the reviews said clip them back heavily, and a couple said no, they don't like that. But I had no choice. It had a split bottom to it. So I took off the side that was not doing well and had all the dead branches. So we'll see which review is the most truthful. If it doesn't survive next year, then it's coming out. But as you can see, I transplanted my giant lily in front of it, which will send up all sorts of little lilies. I put in a couple of places of Shasta daisies that I transplanted from my main plants. I put in the yellow-eyed bluegrass, which that will just go like crazy. And so will my Shasta daisies, actually. And I have euthanasia and black-eyed Susans in here. So now that they will get a little bit more sun, they should like that. And they will go all over the place. And I added another step. And I probably will add one more if I can find one to scoff up. See if I can take it from someplace else. That's what gardening is. It's like, okay, things were not good in that particular instance, or something died, and you just have to rearrange. Be flexible. And my hellebore over there. Oh, I have a bird right here too, next to me, watching me talk. See if I can pan over to him without scaring him. Little siskin. There you are. You're waiting for a bath, aren't you? Yes, you are. Yeah. I'm sorry I'm disturbing you. Yes, sorry. Yeah. Go ahead, go take your bath. And, oops, there he goes. Maybe he's looking for bugs. Maybe he's not really looking for bathing. Usually they bathe in the pond. Anyway, he's doing interesting things. He thinks he's going to bathe in... That's what it is. You want a bubbling bath. Yeah, you want a bubbling bath, but you can't do that. There's no rock there for you to stand on. Anyway, my hellebore, or hellebore, I don't know how you pronounce it, is doing famously still. It's got new leaves, but the flowers keep going. I've only had to deadhead a few flowers. So, at least that's enjoying the wet weather. And over here, now I'm going to bother the bird. Nope, he's going over to the pond to take his bath. Over here, we have the candy cane rose that has come out very well this week. But it's not going to last simply because we've got so much wet weather. And that's a real pretty one right there. So if anybody likes candy cane roses, I highly recommend them. They flower all summer long. I get in there and I deadhead. And they just smell so good. Lots of roses won't smell because they've been cultivated to the point where they have no smell. And then this little guy here in front of the lighthouse is doing very well. That's my hibiscus that is replacing my Lavatera. And it hasn't quite come up to snuff yet. I mean, the Lavatera by now would be cascading over the bench in beautiful pink flowers. But considering this has only been in a couple of weeks, we'll give it a chance. And then it's supposed to die back to the ground every year and then grow up really quickly. I also put in this area an upright fuchsia. So that's starting to have its bell flowers come out. And there's some lavender. And my tree ivy. My yellow rose, I am going to clip way back this year. As you can see, most of these have gotten too much water on the blossoms. They've rotted. I don't really have a black spot disease on the leaves too much, but with so much rain, the buds are just getting rotten before they can even open. So it's going to get clipped back, way back this year, I think. And over here, we have the hostas I separated last year, and this year they're going to have to be separated again. I think this year I'm going to be giving some of them away, though, because I've got enough hostas around. Especially the fire and ice ones. And by the pond, we have that gorgeous purple clematis. And it is doing so well. And I've got a lot of dieback on my rambling rose. That did not like the heat last year that we had that was 100 degrees, and it did not like the super cold that we had this winter for 5 weeks. So I'm not going to clip that too heavily because I don't want anything to happen to it. And a lot of my roses just did not do well with those super high temperatures and super low temperatures. My heirloom rose had one white blossom on it, and it is really struggling. So I'm going to be cutting that way back and see if I can't rejuvenate it. My double pink one, though, however, is absolutely glorious. And this one, I believe, was a David Austin. a little bit more hardy and full of blossoms. Now, coming to the back, oh, I know, I don't think I gave you a good enough picture of what it looks like now that I took out the California rose, or California lilac. From the path now, from the center of the path now, you can actually see the gorgeous red rose, which is kind of a plus. Before you couldn't see it because the California lilac that was dead and brown was hiding it. And it was all leaning over in that direction. So I'm really pleased about that because you can actually see stuff down there now. So it gives a little bit more depth to the garden. And yesterday, after waiting for 13 days for the plants to come in from North Carolina, FedEx totally messed up. I managed to get my other plants planted, and one of those plants happens to be a Rosa Sharon. And that is a tree Rosa Sharon. So we'll see how that works. And I planted it purposely so that the back side faces the morning sun, which will make it grow more towards this side, which is the afternoon sun. And I can see my neighbor's kids have been throwing their clothes over the fence again. Getting really tired of my back fence looking like some sort of yard sale. Wish they'd move the trampoline. And these are my horrible strawberries that came in. They're an Everbloom. That's if they make it through. But after 13 days, they did not fare well. One of them just came in as soggy roots. There were no leaves. Mildewy. And then the other three had leaves, but once again, they do not look good. So we'll see if any of those survive. And yesterday I also got in and weeded the other half of my garden over here underneath my lilacs. And lo and behold, one of the banana trees that Chandra bought is managing a green leaf. Well, sort of green. It's black on the tip. But we'll see what happens. The other one is totally dead. But the company was very good, and they are replacing these two. So I do have two more coming that I will be planting. And if this one makes it, well, then I'll have a third one. And one of my peony branches broke off, or roots broke off. And so I just transplanted it in here. And that's the one that's going to have the big balls on it with the kind of apricot color. Over behind the shed, my snap peas are doing well. Oh, and there's a jet going over. Sometimes the air traffic is from Tacoma is routed by here. Anyway, it's looking very nice, even though we have had a lot of rain. And it's hard to believe, but the garden really dies down to just about nothing in the wintertime. And then in just a few weeks in the summertime, it's so full and beautiful. And my knockout rose that's on my shed here did not like the winter and last summer's hot temperatures, but it is all leafing out. So we're doing good. My daylilies over on my Chandra's shed are going to be blossoming very shortly. My lilies will start popping soon. I have a hydrangea down there under the tree, and that's full of blossoms. And then this red rose is ever blooming, and it'll bloom all summer long, even though its blossoms may get brown from all the rain. It's not too bad here because we're under a great big, I don't know whether it's a hemlock or a cedar, but we're under a great big tree. And so it doesn't get the rain as badly as the roses out in the open. And the same thing with this one down here. These are pretty protected, so they stay pretty. And my transplanted hostas doing well. And then I also planted an Astil bee in there in the stumps, and that started to bloom up. It's going to be nice red blossoms. And another hydrangea. And a heuchera. And I have one foxglove. That's that little green plant in there. And if that is a first-year foxglove that I bought, then it won't have blossoms on it. But if it's a second-year one, it'll bloom later. But chances are it's just going to be green this year. And this was a lily, I believe. And for some reason it got overgrown with things. And so I transplanted it to where it's out in the open, so it should do well. It looks like it's starting to blossom up. Primrose. I have a yellow rose towards the back there. And once again, I took out all of the blackberries that were climbing the fence and trying to get to my lilacs. Oh, and my dinner plate rose has got a bud that's just about ready to pop. That'll be a beautiful, kind of an orangey red color. And they get absolutely huge. That's why I call it my dinner plate. But that's about it from Lynn's garden. We're back to my Kim's lilac and my clematis over here. And these on the right-hand side of the path